I didn't have my do not disturb on. I got a call and it messed up the whole video. But yeah, like I was saying, we have to call on our Father, right? Abba, all right? Abba, please return, Send destruction upon America. Establish our kingdom, man. Give us righteousness. Because ultimately our prayers and the things that we beg of the Lord, it's all in righteousness. We're literally asking the Lord to remove sin from us. We're literally asking the Lord to remove these imperfections and these flaws and to give us the celestial bodies to allow us to be perfect, to allow us to be righteous, so we can do his work in 100% assurity. We don't want evil on the earth anymore, man. Of course, you're still going to have mortals, and they're going to have their thoughts, and they're still going to have their ways and things like that. But ultimately, the earth itself is going to be glorified. The earth is going to be powerful, full of life, youthful, mighty, because it's going to be reigned by the Israelites. All right, and even the people, man. Even the people they're gonna be in a joyful state, because when we come into rulership, our ordinances and our way of life works hand in hand with life itself. So our ways lead unto life, whereas the ways of the heathen today lead unto death. You have some little pockets of people and tribes, if you will, that live a lifestyle that technically leads unto life in this world, outside of their fornication and dealing with different religions. But typically outside of that, their way of life coincides with life. The way they treat the land, the way they treat their temples, how they live life, how they treat the earth, all these different things. And we're going to have that in our kingdom times 100. And in our kingdom, we're going to worship the one true God, all right? Yahweh, all right? And we're going to reign in the kingdom with his son, Yahweh Shai, man. We're going to be joint heirs. And as Proverbs 29:2 says, that when the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, all right? And the people are mourning today. You just look around, man. Everybody's miserable. All right, everyone's depressed. All right, everyone is subject unto payments. Not even just the Israelites, man. Us more than anybody, because we're the poorest of all. But hey, and when you even think about it, it's like, yeah, in America, somewhat we're privileged with certain things, but a lot of these third world countries, man, when the outside looking in, they'll be poor, but their way of life is simpler than ours. All right, they don't have all the burdens of stresses and rent payments and mortgage and bills and this and that and that. Not really that you can compare the two, because it's two different circumstances ultimately. But America's tough, man. It's a lot of pressure, all right, trying to keep up with the status quo, if you will. Not really just trying to not be a bum, all right, trying not to be on a short end of the stick, especially us being Yasha Allah. We're of a royal lineage. We come from the direct, we come under the direct tutelage, man, of Yahweh Shai and his father Yahweh, man. So, and our ways are above these heathens. Just speaking plainly. Our ways are above theirs, all right? Our ways coincide with life. Our ways coincide with the Creator. All right, whereas these heathen, man, they make themselves idols. All right, they do witchcraft and all type of sorcery and all type of paganism. Man. Shit that's vanity, holds no value, no meaning, no essence. All right, but that's why we ought to, we need to be on that, in that spirit of prayer, man. Ultimately, praying for the Lord to come deliver us. Praying for the Lord to remove vanity from us, feed us with righteousness, with blessings through the Spirit, because we're trying our best, man. We're doing our best, man. Now that we've come to the knowledge, and it's a fight, man. It's a fight. It's not a race. It's a marathon, if you will. It's not a sprint, I should say. It's even a marathon. It's technically a race, but it's not a sprint, man. It's a marathon. All right. You have to run at a pace to where you can sustain, because if you come off the gate too strong, you're not going to be able to finish the race, man. You're not going to be able to finish the course. All right. If you burn yourself out, you tire yourself out. And that's what America does, though. America tires and burns you out. That's why it's very important that we have a balance in this life, you know, in this truth specifically. You know, even in life, you still have to have a balance outside of this truth. You know, even if you don't have this truth, America burn you out, man. Even if you in the world, all right. If you don't have a balance, but typically, people in the world, you know, don't have balance because they don't have the truth. You know, unless they're someone who is spiritual, if you will, and they try to do certain things. But other than that, generally speaking, us in this knowledge and this know, you know, we have to have a balance. You have to find a pace, all right, that works for you. All right. You can't expect to run at the same pace as someone who might be faster than you. You know, you have to run at your own speed and a pace that you're going to be able to sustain for the course of this marathon. This is something I had to learn myself. You know, comparison demon is deadly. It's destructive. You know, the scriptures even say not to compare yourselves to others. And I think it's Colossians or. Yeah, I forgot. I can't remember which scripture it is. I could look it up, but you know, it says, I think it's Corinthians, but it says comparing yourselves amongst yourselves, man. It's vanity, roughly paraphrasing. All right, and basically those that do that compare themselves amongst themselves and amongst others, they're a destruction unto themselves. All right, and they're not wise. You know, you don't even technically want to compare yourselves amongst yourself, man. You want to check yourself and make sure that you are on point. But other than that, man, you don't want to sit here and be in comparison and say, all right, well, I did this or I do this, but this brother do that. You know, that'll mess you up, man. It'll mess your head up, because now you'll start thinking that you ain't good enough, or you'll start thinking somebody else ain't good enough. And that's not the spirit of Yahushua, man. It's not the spirit of Yahushua. Paul said it, man. You know, every man was given their measure of faith. Every man was given their own gifts. All right. And what may be another's is not yours. That's why you have to find your balance. You have to find your pace, or else you'll be burned out trying to keep up with somebody else. You know? Or you'll get disqualified trying to force someone else to run at your pace. And you burn someone else out. Now that looks bad on you, because you're supposed to be a team player or a leader, if you will. And you burn someone else out trying to force them to run at your pace, instead of, because at the end of the day, it's ultimately, this is not a team event. All right, this is not a team race. All right, we're on. It's not what do I want to say? It's a team race, but you don't have to win as a team to win. All right, it's individual. It's scored individually, but you run as a team, if that makes sense. All right, you can have your team all running the race, all running a marathon, but it's not about what team finishes first, like how many members on the team finish first. It's about who finishes, man. That's it. That's really it. As long as you finish, because there's going to be a lot of people that can't finish, man. There's a lot of people that's going to drop out at 15 miles, 12 miles, 25 miles. A marathon at 26 miles. A lot of people is going to drop out at the last mile, man. And that's going to happen in the truth. You're going to have people that drop out at the end of this thing, man. And we're at the end of this thing. You got brothers dropping out, man. Hey, so Lil Willin, this video is edifying. Just a little spiritual talk, man. In transit, Lil Willin and brothers, sisters, edified. Shalom.